So we will be recording this seminar, or webinar should I say, so it will be made available afterwards, and we'll send the slides out to you at a later point as well. Okay, so just bear with me one moment while I share my screen. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so like I said, slides will be made available afterwards. So a quick bit about TPG and who we are. We're a full-service organization helping organizations to implement the Microsoft PPM toolset and just helping them improve the way they manage their projects, programs, and portfolios as well. In the UK, we've been going since around 2008, and TPG as a global entity has been going since 1998 out of Germany. Myself, I have been implementing these type of toolsets for around 16 years. We have a number of partnerships. We're a Microsoft Gold certified partner for PPM, for Project Portfolio Management. We sit on the Partner Advisory Council, so we have a good understanding of the roadmap for the toolset as well. And we also have a number of additional capabilities. We're SAP certified for a product that we have, which is called PS Link, which is really about integration with other line of business systems. So it's a great way of actually improving the ROI on your implementation of Project Server. We're PMI certified training provider, and we have worldwide product implementation partners, as you can see on the screen as well. So as you can see, we provide consulting. We have a number of products that enhance and improve and extend the tool set from Microsoft as well. And obviously we provide complete solutions for organizations and training at the same time. So why do people look at project portfolio management? Well, typically they're looking to improve the way they actually manage and execute those projects, but also around how they decide which projects and programs to move forward with in terms of their organization as well. So as you can see here today, we're going to concentrate on things like scenario cost planning, resource demand management, and decision support as well. So within a life cycle of PPM in an organization, depending on the maturity of the organization, you'll see various different options and different types of organizations as well, from chaotic to reactive to proactive. And some of you will have aspects of each of these within your organization. Primarily the types of organizations we're talking to, looking at what we would call classical portfolio management, are really more in the proactive side of the project portfolio management. What's the word I'm looking for there? Sorry. The maturity of their organization as well. So in terms of what we're going to look at today, we're going to look at Microsoft Project Online, which is part of the Office 365 suite. Project Online sits in the middle. It gives you a central resource pool, project data repository, defines all the standards, and allows us to have the various different capabilities we're going to look at. It's there to support your PMO, your Project Management Office, Portfolio Program, or Project Office processes and governance structures as well. We're going to concentrate on something called Project Web App today, which is the browser-based access to Project Online. There is, of course, Project Professional on the desktop for detailed planning and for project and program managers as well to do that. We do run additional webinars around the whole Microsoft Project Online stack. So please go to our website to look at that. We'll send you details of those as well. They're every Friday at 11:30 and they run for around 20 minutes. So if we have all our data in Project Online and we're utilizing it to collect that data and help us execute our projects, we get better visibility of what's going on. We get reporting, obviously. We also get analysis and business intelligence as well, and they're the kind of areas we're going to concentrate on today. So Microsoft Project Online has lots of different capabilities. A lot of people are kind of stuck thinking about Microsoft Project on the desktop, and that's not where we are today. We're really talking about an end-to-end project portfolio management tool set. We're really going to concentrate today on the demand management, the analytics and selection, and the resource management side of things as well. So when we look at project portfolio management, we're running our businesses, but we've got initiatives and projects that are coming down the line as well. And so we're looking to see how we actually can balance that information out and decide which projects we should be moving forward with. So typically in an organization, you're going to have a pipeline of work. You're going to select what you choose to do. You're going to plan it. You're going to manage it. And that's going to run around on a regular basis, of course. So our ideas come down the pipeline, and then we look to choose and execute those. So the bit we're going to look at today is really around the selection and prioritization of those. Now, many of you will have Excel spreadsheets, and you'll have gut feel, And all of those things are relevant to how you select and choose which projects you actually want to move forward with. I've made some assumptions to constrain the time today. So we're going to look at the fact that ideas have been captured in the tool, and forms have been allowed to capture some of the data around costs, resource requirements, and other data as well. So it's a very configurable tool set in terms of what we can actually achieve with that. So we're going to have a list of business drivers. These are some of the business drivers we have in this example. So expand into new markets, improve product quality, those kind of things. And for each of those business drivers, we actually produce what we call project impact statements. And these project impact statements really describe what the deliverables are and what the benefits we're looking to achieve out of that. But rather than just having something that's not measurable, for each of our business drivers, so in this one, expand into new markets and segments, we're saying that if it doesn't help it, it's not going to grow the revenue. If we look at the bottom though, down at the extreme, if it does support expansion into markets and segments, it's going to help grow revenue from by more than $3 million. So that's something we can measure. And again, that's really important when we're looking at choosing which projects to move forward with. So for each of those business drivers, we can then prioritize them. There's a couple of ways to do that. We can do it manually, so we can choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, for example. Or we can use what's called a pairwise comparison method to give us a more ratio scale response, as it's technically known, in terms of which business drivers really come to the fore. It's a very interesting piece of work to do. It's a softer piece of work. The tool is just there to help us capture that data. But what we do is we walk around to each person, and ask them how more or less important each driver is compared to the next. So again, at the end of this, we'll offer you the opportunity to have a half-day session with us to discuss this in a bit more detail. So what we then do is, on the left-hand side, we've got a list of projects or ideas that we have in the tool set. And then we align each of these projects to each of the business drivers using that scoring, which was none, low, extreme, strong, moderate, high. Yeah, so we do that for each of those particular business drivers. And what that will then end up with is an alignment or priority overview. So what we can then see is on the left-hand side, we've got all of our projects or our ideas. Across the top, we have our business drivers. And then we can see how each of these projects or ideas aligns to each of those business drivers. So we get the, we get a classic kind of grid to allow us to see how that's happening. So what we then have, we then get each project then ends up with a relative priority. And that's based on how we've aligned each of those projects to each of those business drivers and the relative weighting we've given and the relative weighting of the business driver as well. So there's a lot going on, and we will send you some details. I've got a good document that describes this in more detail as well afterwards. So let's kick off and have a quick look at the tool set and the demonstration as well. So I'm just going to ping over to my project online environment. We're in something here called Project Center. This is my list of projects and ideas. I've actually got mine grouped by where they are in the workflow phase. So mine goes create, select, plan, manage. If I look at things that are in the selection phase, acquisition target analysis is there, and I'm going to actually flip over and have a look at that. So in this particular idea, acquisition target analysis, here are some project details that I've captured in a configurable form. Probably the things that we're interested in are things like the total benefits, total cost associated with that project as well. We can also build out what's termed a resource plan. So we have the ability to actually put build some resources from a central resource pool and say how many of those resources we're going to need over a period of time as well. So here I've got a mixture of named individuals and generic resources, and I've said how much of each resource am I going to need on a monthly basis in this case. Now we can choose days, weeks, months, quarters, years. We can choose work units, including hours, days, and full-time equivalent as well. So what we've seen there is the ability to very quickly capture information. We don't need to put a fully detailed plan together perhaps, but we can capture, say, the cost data and the high-level resource information we need for that project. What we can then start to do is actually start to build out some analysis. So the first thing we're going to look at is constraints analysis around costs. So let me explain what's on the screen here. I've selected a number of projects. So I have selected 24 projects, as you can see where my mouse is there. The total cost to run all those projects is best part of $20 million in this particular case. So if I spent $20 million and I ran those 24 projects, the toolset is telling me that I would deliver 100% of the strategic value as defined by those business drivers. Okay, so I don't have $20 million to run this year, all my projects. So I'm going to run a scenario. I put one in here earlier. I'm going to say that actually my budget for the year is only 14 million. And the toolset will go away and say, okay, well, based on the amount of money you have to spend on your projects and how you've aligned your projects to those business drivers and their relative weightings, we would suggest that you run these 17 projects. And if you run those 17 projects and all things being equal, you actually deliver them, you'll still deliver 85% of the strategic value as defined by those business drivers. However, you won't do the projects at the bottom there, the ones that we've moved out. And what we can see on the left-hand side is this strategic efficient frontier curve. And what this is telling me is that depending on how much I spend, it will give me an idea of what I can actually deliver. And we want to be on this particular curve. This is called an efficient frontier curve. So you can see my original baseline at the top there, and you can now see my 14 million budget model. And I've got some other models here as well, force in, force out, because we can now come in here and be a bit more subjective and say, well, what happens if I force this project in? What happens, for example, if I force this project out? And in fact, we can then run another scenario. I've got one here from earlier. What happens if I force some in and out? And the toolset will say, well, actually, if you force those projects in and out, this is what it's going to look like. So again, we're able to take into account things such as regulatory change and change in the environment as well. And so what we can see here is we force some projects in, it's had to move some out, and we can see the difference there as well. Each of these, by the way, we can choose to save. We can also create a comparison as well. Now, really important here is that all the changes that we're making are only what-if scenario based. They don't impact what we're already executing. We can commit them, create a report, and then it's up to the project managers and other people within the organization to actually go and enact those changes. So this particular report here is available out of the box, and it allows me to see for each of the scenarios that I have here at the top, how many projects I would select, the strategic value as well, the total cost, benefits, so on and so forth. So that's available for people. Now, at this point, I've only chosen one cost limit, total cost. I could have split that out across years. I could have chosen other metrics that we may be using as well. Now, that can be your starting point, and some customers don't go any further than that. They're just interested in, looking at the metrics around cost and constraints analysis that way. However, of course, Project Online provides you with the central resource pool, so it gives us the ability to actually look at what we're already executing, what we want to execute, and see what the bit in the middle looks like in terms of what we can actually execute as well. So it doesn't matter how much money I have in some respects, because if I don't have enough resources, I still can't execute those projects and deliver them as well. So what we can see here in this particular screen, there's a lot going on, but let me explain it. In the top bit here where my mouse is, these are the roles that we've built into the tool set. Now, again, very configurable. I've kept them at a very high level, so we've got accounting, analyst, consultant, creative, that kind of thing. What we can then see here is in red, where we've got deficits for resources, and we can start to scroll down and see, we don't have enough creative people here. Scroll down a bit further. We don't have enough procurement people, and so on and so forth. Now, that's based on what we've already defined and assigned to those resources through the central resource pool, through the Microsoft project plans that we have. And that's a great thing about Project Online, is it allows us to roll up and summarize that data. We can see what's been selected, and we can see what's not been selected because we don't have enough resources to actually execute that at the moment. Now, we do have various different options available to us. I've said that we must have 100% of the available resources to us to be able to actually execute that. We could change that if we wanted to, so we could say, well, as long as we've got 80% of the resources, then that will allow us to actually run those particular projects. Now, what scenarios can we run in here? Let's go to our Gantt chart. Gantt charts are going to allow me to actually do a couple of things here. One thing we could do is we have the option again to force projects in and out, so we could do that exactly the same as previously. We can also move projects. So I could actually say, well, what happens if I move this project forward a month or a quarter and what have you, and see the impact of that change. Again, anything we'd make there, any change we make there doesn't have an impact on what we're already executing. That's a really important thing here. So let's have a look at this. I'm going to run another scenario. I'm going to say what happens if I hire 5 people. Now I could say what happens if I had another $100,000 of cost, for example, or money available to me. In this case, I'm going to say what happens if I hire 5 people. Toolset's going to go along and say, well, if you hired 5, you could move all these projects in, which is great. But it will actually also tell me what type of resources I should hire. So it's taken away from us saying what type of resources will I use, and saying, well, you've chosen to do these projects. These are the resources that you should actually utilize, or you would need to actually utilize those projects. So I can see I'd need a creative, procurement, a trainer, and a vendor for some reason as well, although that would not be required. But it won't hire more than it needs to, so it will show you exactly that as well. And again, we get how many projects will be selected and what strategic value we would end up with as well. So again, the key thing here is we can have comparison views. We can commit those as well at some point, so we can see the current portfolio, and then people could go and make those changes at the same time. So it's a really powerful way of being able to see everything across the organization. And not just in this way as well. We have various different views available to us to help make data-driven decisions around which projects we should actually be moving forward with as well. So here's the resource center, and now I've drilled down and I can see more information at a more detailed level as well, shall we say. And then, of course, we can start to report across that particular set of data as well. Here's maybe a portfolio report or dashboard that's available. Again, it's interactive, so if I'm only interested in a few of these projects or a few of these types of projects, I can play around with that as well. So we have that ability. So bringing this towards a close then, what we've looked at is the ability for people to more easily gather their data, gather their list of projects, their ideas, and then be able to analyze those against things like costs and resources and make decisions about which projects they want to actually execute and move forward with as well. Now, obviously, we've shown that in a very short period of time, so if you are interested, we'd love to speak to you in more detail. Again, the things that we've looked at today, there are changes in the organizational culture that may be required to actually be able to do these type of things, and TPG can certainly help you with that as well. But really, some of the benefits for the organization is around improving the resource utilization, being able to understand the capacity for the organization as well, get rid of some of those bottlenecks, hopefully reduce the cost by being able to get your projects to market more quickly, so we get a faster time to market, faster time to money, of course, improve the collaboration because all of your data is in one place, and it also allows us to have a more objective way of deciding which projects to move forward with as well. So I'd like to thank you for your time this morning. We are running a series of webinars at 11:30 most Friday mornings. Look at our website, theprojectgroup.com, and you'll be able to find those on there. Please do sign up. I'll make this video available, and we'll also make the slides available to you afterwards as well. I'll be online for a few minutes, so if you have any questions, please do use the toolbar to put up your hand, but feel free to contact me at the email address there. I wish you a good weekend and look forward to seeing you on our webinars in the future as well.